entrepreneurship journey started technically when I was a pizza delivery driver.
That journey that I've went through, I think I can share that and help others because I know there are people out there being stuck.
I want to have a digital forum where at that time Black Canadian men could share their stories, share their hearts.
What inspired it was just an idea that my husband and I had on the way home from his granny's.
Hey, good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, I should say. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to BizGrams. My name is Chris-Beth Cowie. I am the host of this amazing show where I get to interview dynamic entrepreneurs on their journey, making a positive difference. I'm super grateful and excited to have the opportunity to interview Erin, who is our amazing guest today. Erin, how are you doing today?
I am doing very good. Thank you. How are you?
I am doing well. After the long weekend, just kind of getting back into the grind, but it was so good to have a little bit of R&R, rest and relaxation and family and loved ones around. So super good. Although you can hear by my throat as well, sometimes the cold is on our way, but I'm recovering. So I'm really happy about that as well.
Yeah, I know all about that. My son was down and out for like 6 days last week. So he's finally on the mend and back at school. So everything is good.
We give thanks. We give thanks.
Yes, thank God.
So Erin, tell us a little bit about yourself and your organization, the Elleiance Network.
Sure. So my name is Erin Sisko, and I am the founder of the Elleiance Network, which is a membership-based business mastermind network for Canadian women entrepreneurs. And really what that means is if you are a Canadian woman entrepreneur, this is the place for you. The mastermind component means that once you join the network as a masterminder, you answer a small questionnaire about where you're at in business and where you're going, and you are very strategically assigned to your own private mastermind group, which meets once a month for 2 hours, and it is professionally facilitated and guided by an agenda on all things around building and scaling your company. And then there are other events and meetings throughout the month that you're able to tap into so that you could access the wider network. And it's really about making meaningful connections and strategically using a network to advance and reach and exceed your business goals, because we really believe that it is humans. No matter what you do, you need humans to brainstorm with and connect you to others and collaborate with and open doors for you that not that you can't do on your own, but you can go 10 times faster when you have people that believe in you and are along the journey with you. So you are also an entrepreneur, and you know that it can get a little lonely sometimes, or when you're just sitting in your own office, racking your brain. The ability to have other people that are business minded and have large networks and vast amount of experiences behind them in business, and to put their brain on your business is really an invaluable tool when you're an entrepreneur with big dreams. So that is the concept of the Elleiance Network. And then we just launched in September the first ever Capital L Business Impact Award, which is a $20,000 business package that will be awarded again to one Canadian woman entrepreneur. We love supporting women entrepreneurs in growing wildly successful businesses. So this award is the first step where we kind of blend in a capital component. So I just talked about the importance of having the right people around you. And then the second part of that is the importance of having access to the right type of capital when you're trying to grow. So this award will help one woman take her dreams to the next level. And, there's a lot more that we want to do around that as we look forward, but are super, super excited about this first step in launching this award for Canadian women entrepreneurs.
Hey, thank you so much for sharing. And you gave us a ton load of value there about the concept of a mastermind for those that are not familiar with it, as well as just understanding the dynamics of the benefits, being in community, being able to, brainstorm together, the camaraderie, just knowing sometimes it does get a little bit lonely, but also being able to have those strategic components to advance the business as you're building and growing. So talk to us a little bit about some of the success stories that you've seen out of the mastermind community to help to help shape how Elleiance Network is growing for the future.
Yeah, there's been, it's a tough question because when you actually connect the right people together, and that is, I think, a big part of this, is that there are so many networking opportunities that are available to you, but when you walk into rooms, depending on how you like to network, you can feel a little lost or overwhelmed, or am I going to meet the right people at the right time that are actually going to be able to have the right type of impact on my business? And how do I structure these conversations to even know if I am meeting the right person? Like, we can talk about, you start with the small talk about the weather, or happy Thanksgiving, or how was your turkey, or, any trips coming up. But like, these surface level conversations, small talk, are, a lot of us just don't have time for that. So, or just don't have any energy that they want to put in that direction. And what I do find, as a woman entrepreneur myself and a woman in business for many, many, many years, is that I would way rather go deeper with people and build real relationships and real connections than with 10 or 20 people. Then I would, just want to have 100 business cards in my hand, or 100 new LinkedIn connections that I'm not really 100% sure how, I can leverage these connections to help me and how I could help them back. So that, the Elleiance Network has been structured to make that part of networking really simple and easy, and kind of take the guesswork out of that, and any uncomfortability out of that, make it more natural. So what we've seen is everything from, brand new businesses being launched in partnership, and that was actually something that I did. So with 3 other Elleiance members, I bought a bakery and, helped make my main business partner, who it's been her dream since she's been a little girl to own a bakery, but wasn't sure how to navigate that transaction by herself. She now owns a bakery, and that was a really awesome project to put together, and it wouldn't have happened without the Elleiance Network and having those, like, I knew what her deepest goals and desires were, because we're in community together where we're having these like deeper, meaningful conversations. From clients to new suppliers to new collaborations to, referrals, all the things that only the right people can kind of put in your path to keep you moving forward on your journey. So yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, and I think that is, you did share a success story there, and I think it is powerful to demonstrate the power of community. Oftentimes, I'm talking about every individual is valuable. They have value. The things that you do should be of value. but it's truly in community that value gets multiplied, 100-fold. Like it's limitless, right? So it's like considering throwing that rock in the water and you just see the ripples out. So I think the powerful, the connections that you referred to and experiencing in the organization is really amazing. So Erin, that what you're doing is amazing, and I think a lot of women in your network is being transformed and growing in their industry. So tell us about your genesis story. How or what inspired you to start the Elleiance Network to follow your own dreams?
Sure. So I was working for the Business Development Bank of Canada, the BDC, for 10 years. And it was during my time there that I really learned that supporting entrepreneurs and growing their business was my passion. And it's what I'm supposed to be doing during my time here. So I was really quite happy in my job. I provide financing and advisory services for Canadian small and medium-sized businesses. And in 2019, so there was a networking component, a big networking component to my job. And I was fumbling my way through it. But to be honest, in my corporate mindset, I was not thinking outside of the box on how could this be easier for me? Like, what are better ways that networking can be done? I just did all of the traditional things and walked into more rooms than I need to say, where I like circled the perimeter and felt like an outsider because I didn't know anybody and was too scared to walk up to the strangers, and got a drink and then walked out, pretended I was going to the bathroom, or, like just those uncomfortable networking events. But I did them all, and I told myself they're a part of the experience. And to a degree they are, you learn lots from doing things like that. But in 2019, I also got assigned or appointed the role of the ambassador for women entrepreneurs for Eastern and Northern Ontario, which got me intentionally talking to a lot more women, and also very aware that my portfolio of clients was always 90 to 100% male owned and run companies, which started to get me curious as to why, why is it this way? It didn't make any sense to me, because you don't need to have any particular male qualities to be an entrepreneur and grow really successful businesses. Like, women are just as qualified, and sometimes more in some cases. So through these conversations and asking them what they felt their biggest challenge was in growing their business, what I was hearing every single time was making the right connections. And, maybe the 10th time that I had heard that, I started brainstorming on it, and I was like, what can I do? If this is the problem and I'm supposed to be the ambassador for women entrepreneurs for this big corporation, what can I do that's meaningful? So I threw it out to my network that if I start a group, would you come? And so 10 people came, and, on and on. It was an extension of my job, which eventually filled me up so much and grew to such a point that I did decide to leave my safe and comfortable corporate government job and leap with 2 feet into the scary and exciting world of entrepreneurship. But yeah, when I look back, I think the main catalyst that is obvious is that I did it because I wanted to help and I genuinely cared, and they were telling me that this was what was required. So I needed to do something about it. But, the interesting part is, really deep down, it was exactly what I needed the whole time. It was meaningful rooms. It was safe spaces that were comfortable and designed for women to have meaningful conversations, to grow and help each other, like truly meet and exceed big goals that they had on their goal list for that year, and to do some real business and make some real money and grow together. So So yeah, it's been so fulfilling in every single way possible for myself personally, but then also watching the transformation of the women in the network and myself. You transform inside community. Like you said, it's 100x. You have no idea what you're going to get, but when you show up like ready to give and receive and just be open to whatever possibilities that could look like for you. Um, I always say the word magic and it sounds kind of corny, but like I don't know what.
That is the word I use. The magic happens.
Okay, good. I got alone on that. I'm like, it's just
So
magical.
fun.
You just believe me.
Yes, the magic. I totally love it, and it is truly magical. Going, even as you said, people with ideas coming in, going from ideation to making your first sale, engaging with a first potential customer, building some infrastructure for your business. It is truly amazing how we can take our thoughts and get that transformation. And honestly, what you're talking about is the connection. You heard the need, you started filling the need, and you're a benefactor of it as well in many ways. So that's really amazing. Your genesis story. It's interesting because many entrepreneurs oftentimes get that first tug at the heart or first way that they move that enables them to really grow and be dynamic from there. So yeah, just really that the journey, right? I think sometimes entrepreneurs oftentimes hear that call, see a need, and act, and it is truly wonderful to know. To your point, you left your full time, your cushy stuff, and you went from comfort zone to uncomfortable zone, and the benefits and the blessings that has come out from that experience. So you mentioned this a little bit, Erin, in terms of the challenges. Entrepreneurship is not challenge free, risk free, all of this stuff. So just share with our audience some of the challenges or things that you've experienced and the lessons that you've learned or you're currently still learning as you're building out the network.
Yeah, what do they say? Every new level is a new devil. So
Yes.
when you hear the word journey a lot, but to me it's like there's no better word for it. It is, and also for me personally, I don't even really have a clear picture of what the final destination is. It's just a journey, and I'm just open to what unfolds while I'm walking this path. And, I have ideas of things that I want to accomplish and that I'm working towards actively. And, most of it, I have no idea how to do it. So it's the community and saying things out loud and the next right step. You and I are an example of that, how we got connected through a program that I got accepted into, that I applied for, got accepted, met you. You've supported me in so many ways since you've come into my life, and you shared this with me, and now we're able to have this conversation together and hopefully impact others that are listening to this conversation. But it's just one little tiny step every day, and trusting that that little step is going to guide you to the next little step. And, I didn't know anything. I've talked to you. I didn't know anything about paid ads or how that would work for getting the word out there. As much as I was in commercial lending, I knew nothing about bookkeeping or the CRA and like actually paying taxes, paying yourself. Financial management is probably one of the most challenging aspects because you're not getting a regular paycheck every 2 weeks, and you're constantly reinvesting in your business. Like I know for myself, like there is an endless amount of investments that I want to make in myself and in my business to keep growing and keep learning and keep reaching that next level. But all of these investments are time and money. And I think one thing that I will always learn, but it's just so I'm in it right now, is that time and money are not um like abundant resources. Like you need to be very strategic with those two types of investments and how you decide to deploy where and how you spend your time and where and how you spend your money. And, really looking at what the return is on all of that and how you're going to use those investments to guide you to what the next right step is on your journey. So, yeah, so much learning and growing. Being a speaker, telling your story, writing the copy on your website, like that's something that I'm looking at right now. I'm not a professional copywriter, but yet I know I need copy that converts. So, or that tells my message in a powerful way that helps others see themselves, inside my community, or if that's where they're supposed to be, my message is resonating with the right people, right? So, yeah, there's just so many things that you're required to do as a small business owner, and a lot of it you have to do on your own in the beginning until you kind of start generating enough, again, to make those investments in people, in contractors, in a team member that can help you. But yeah, a lot of trusting your gut and just making the moves and pivoting and course correcting when necessary, and hopefully really quick, and going again, that's it's the challenges are never going to go away. You just get a little bit better at how you navigate them.
Hey, that is so true and so vital. I honestly say entrepreneurship is the best personal development course or program you could sign up for, because the learning is constant. And I love that word you use, investment. We as entrepreneurs need to invest in ourselves, even if it's like getting that new course around financial management, learning something new to enhance what we bring to our business in that way. And yes, the time and the money investment, far too often we get caught up in the busy work of entrepreneurship versus the most important work of entrepreneurship where we at, right? And so being able to really look at our to-do list, and the question that I ask my coaching clients is really, what is the highest value activity that you could do today? What is one thing that will move the dial for you, right? And I love the fact that, as you share, it's this ever ongoing learning journey that you're on, to help bring about change for your business, bring about change for your community and yourself as well. One thing that you mentioned that, sometimes early stage entrepreneurs forget is that paying yourself. And, I don't know if you have anything else to add to that, but maybe it's sitting down with a CPA to figure out what is the money management for my thing look like, to figure that piece out. But what advice would you give to an entrepreneur? What advice are you giving to the women in your network on an ongoing basis, as they're building?
Yeah, it's so, because everyone needs something different at a different stage, right? So, I say we talk about inside Elleiance 5 different broad topics when it comes to business. So finance is one of them, but so is HR, marketing, strategy, and mindset. And so the one piece that we don't go too deep into is operations. So what your specific zone of genius is for why you got into business. you are the expert in that space in Elleiance rooms, and we just talk about every other thread that every single small business needs to be thinking about. So, I literally just got off of a meeting, an Elleiance meeting that is called the Boss Meeting. It happens once a month, and the women who showed up in this meeting get an opportunity to share the most important thing they're working on this week and where they could use some help and who they might want to meet. So we ask them those 3 questions, and we kind of go around and all brainstorm together. But so it's vast, right? Like one woman might say, right now is my slow season, and I've been doing Google ads, but not getting the right types of leads. Like, what else should I be looking at? Like, are Google ads actually the way to go? And does anybody understand how they actually work so that they can, find my dream clients? To I'm looking to take on a co-founder, and here are some criteria that is attractive to me. If anyone knows somebody in this space that, can you please make an introduction? So it's it's so it's so unique, right? Like nobody is at my exact stage of business, and no one is at your exact stage of business. And there are some general things that we all need to know, but I kind of feel like we can find the general things. Like we can Google the general things. It's the things that aren't so general that Google is just a confusing web of information, and you don't know what is right for you right now. And that's where that human touch comes in, where I can specifically say, this is the very specific thing that's on my mind this week that I'm trying to figure out. Have you done anything like this before? Or do you know the right person that can help get me through that? And that's where like the 10x or the 100x speed comes in, instead of Googling, to like get those direct recommendations from someone who's walked that path beside you or is a couple steps ahead of you. Is, you know, that's where the maximum amount of value comes in, that you can hang up and make that baby step, right? That next high value step without having to, go through a course. And like there's just so much out there. There's so much out there that it's hard for me to get specific on like the exact specific things that we're talking about, because it's every stage and phase. So it's so custom and unique to each individual member inside of there, but it's those 5 buckets.
Yeah,
So
hey, thanks for sharing. And, I think to sum up what you just said, although you didn't say this one thing, but I think the human connection is really where I like to, what gravitated to me as you were speaking. We have the tools, you can go Google it. I tell people there's no reason for you to say you don't know or you're playing dumb in 2024, because Google exists, information at our fingertips. And tools like AI and all of these things should be seen as tools to help leverage. But the power of that human connection, as you talked about it, to be able to pick up the phone, to be able to show up in a space where a potential subject matter expert is present, or somebody who has gone through something similar and overcome, to be able to leverage the wisdom that you get from that person, I think is so amazing. And a very good takeaway. Build your community, build your network, join the Elleiance Network. That's what my plug is for people listening today. So talk to us. You're super excited about the Capital Award that you have. And as you talked about it earlier, um, many people, yes, we talk about human, we talk about, the mindset, all of these things, but financial capital is definitely a component that is needed. And I think with capital L Business Impact Award. You're definitely setting the tone and making a difference in the life of women that are just coming to awareness about this, as well as, you know, when that one winner is announced as well. So talk to us a little bit more about the award, who can apply, and what does that process look like?
Sure. So it is open to all Canadian women entrepreneurs. There is a guideline in place. It's an impact award. So we are looking to understand the impact that you are making through your business. So the guide is that it's best designed for women who have been in business for a year or two and that are at or approaching the six-figure mark in revenue, for the simple fact that it's easier to explain the impact that you're making when you have a few years under your belt and you can actually share the actual facts and data about the impact that your business has made and is going to continue to make. But if you feel that you can do that and you've only been in business for under a year, then I always say we're not asking for your articles of incorporation or your master business license or your financial statements. This is more just that we don't want to waste anyone's time. And, when we're receiving hundreds of applications, you got to be able to stand out. And that's one way to do it, is by really powerfully describing the impact that your business has made and is going to continue to make. So impact is what this award is all based around. And there's no fee to apply. You need to be Canadian. The application has been very thoughtfully designed to be fairly quick and simple. It's just 5 questions long, and we're not, like I said, it's not a full business plan or anything like that. So I've tried to reduce as many barriers as possible, and that was something that was really important for me, especially with a lending background and helping so many women or entrepreneurs in general access grants for their business and funding. Too often, the amount of hoops that are required to even get something as small as $5,000 is, it's very difficult. So I wanted to reduce as many barriers as possible. There are 5 categories. So I hope that as many women in Canada can see themselves inside one of these categories. The categories are social impact, community impact, financial impact, service impact, and product impact. And, there's blurbs that you can find on the website that describe the definition of each category or why you should apply under each category. And then there's going to be 2 category winners. And as a category winner, you also get access to some really cool prizes. And then that makes up the top 10, which goes to our amazing partners and sponsors that have helped me bring this award to life. And they will choose the lucky winner. So yeah, it's just been such a fun
When
process.
does applications close? Just remind us.
Sure. Yeah, they close on October 28th. So I was just looking, there is 13 days left to apply as of today. So we're getting near the end, and then the top 10, I believe, is November 13th when the top 10 will be announced, and the end of November is when the winner will be announced. And yeah, our goal is that, this was such a fun and successful project for us to launch, and the applications that have been coming in have just been showing the need for access to capital, and like the projects that Canadian women are working on are mind-blowing. So there is so much more work to do in this space, and that is what's on my goal list. So I'm excited to bring, even larger initiatives to life in 2025 and beyond. But yeah, that's the award. It's $20,000 prize package, and what that is comprised of is $5,000 cash, 1 year of strategic business coaching, 3 months of social media management, 3 months of CFO and accounting support, 3 months of transformational mindset coaching, and $1,000 in promotional products for your business. So it's really such an amazing suite of business products and services and cash that I just know it's going to change someone's life, and I can't wait to see the impact that the award has.
Hey, that is awesome. And I love what you shared. And I know based on the conversations that we've had and even the entrepreneurs that I see out there, to your point, there's lots of barriers accessing capital. You're on mission to reduce those barriers through this. And I think, as you said, it's just the catalyst for greater things to come. So tell us from your perspective, how to go about to raise social capital. I know that you talked a lot about it from the perspective of the networking and all of these things, and why women are the masters of the art.
Yeah, so social capital is kind of the name of the game of the Elleiance Network, and I just love those two words together. So the social is the connector and the community, and the capital, which we normally think of as financial capital, um, but also, I think that as women, we could think more about our return on relationship as much as we think about our return on investment or our return on the capital that we raise. And they're both, it's the human capital and the financial capital that have come together and created this social capital revolution for women entrepreneurs. And I do think we are the masters at it. We are the masters at relationships for sure. And, I think women can build relationships quicker and stronger than, it's one of our superpowers. We love connecting on a deep level with people. And that is really where, when we talk about that magic, because when I deeply know how you can support me and how I can support you, then we're able to do that for one another. Without knowing that, I don't know how I can support you. So it's not going to be on the top of my mind, and I'm not going to be in rooms mentioning your name if I don't know enough about what you do and how I can help, right? But once you do, then people are mentioning your name in rooms when you're not there all the time. And that is, this ripple effect that we see. And on the capital side, that is also done so much through networks. We know that men have been doing it for generations and generations, and it's been happening, in places like on golf courses or, at a bar stool somewhere or in big fancy boardrooms. A lot of times, rooms and seats that women are left out of. And it's through these types of conversations, again, that, direct investments are made or connections to the right bankers are made. It's all the connections, and it gives you the confidence too. Like, I'm so much more confident when, if I need something and you directly introduce me to the right person as someone in your network, then for me to show up and make that connection because you connected us, there's something so much more simple but meaningful about it. And that's where it's like leveraging these connections even more than we already are, with our goals in mind. And that's really where I want the Elleiance Network to to make a difference is making the leverage and the strategy behind the relationships really work for us to take us to places that, we can't even think about or see right now because they're just so far up the journey, but they're so possible when the right types of conversations are being had with the right types of people. And, I just feel like it's our time and things are being structured exactly the way, like it's all happening for us right now. So we just need to be open to receive like what's out there and just put yourself in the right places with the right people and be ready for it. Say yes.
Say yes. And I am honored, Erin, to have had the privilege to be in one of your rooms where I said yes to an opportunity, and the connections that I've made from there, we're still having conversations, still learning about each other and figuring out how we can support each other. So I would say you're definitely a master curator in getting people in the right people in the room, in that way, and seeing how it flourishes, right? Which is a beautiful thing as well. And I think through the Capital L award that you're doing, I think it's evident. You said you put together a suite of resources, valued at the $20,000 for the folks. But it's wonderful that package incorporates a sweet individuals, like just really amazing subject matter expertise to help you along the way, because sometimes we get the money and we don't know how to use it strategically, right? And I love the fact that strategic coaching is part of that to help that entrepreneur really get their mindset, everything. I love what you've put together. Truly a sweet suite of resources in your award. So Erin, it has been a privilege and pleasure having you on the show. My word is phonetical. I don't know if I've ever mentioned it to you before, but the word is fun and epic combined for great or small adventures that are memorable and impactful. So what is something phonetical that you do to have some R&R, take care of yourself while you're, building the empire?
Well, I am very lucky because I have two amazing children that are 9 years old and 7 years old. So there is play built in to every single one of my days because I got to play with them. They need to play, and I am lucky enough that I'm their mom, and that's how you connect with the kids, right? So, between being a mom and building businesses, there's not always a lot of time to do things by myself, but I'm also totally okay with that. So with my kids, that's where I switch gears, and I think where I'm able to be a different version of myself, and also kind of where creativity and inspiration gets to flow so that when I sit back down at my desk, I can be the best version of a professional and a businesswoman when I sit here, and then be the best version of a mom when I leave this desk and engage with my kids, and we play soccer, or we go on the trampoline, or we go swimming, or we go biking, or whatever it might be. But I feel grateful that that aspect of play is still built into my life and keeps me like young and moving my body and doing different things and engaging with these little people that are so interesting and creative and help me do the same thing. So yeah, that's
I
really
love
my
it.
when I'm not sitting here, that's where you'll find me.
Hey, I love it. And they say that from 0 to 7 kids, and even I guess you said 9, kids are oftentimes in this theta state of mind where imagination comes to life, right? And it is that imaginary horse using a broomstick or the mop, it's baking the cakes and imaginary eating it, all of this stuff. So as you're talking about play, which is so powerful, and it's definitely necessary for us as entrepreneurs to tap into the creativity, as you said, right? And I truly value the funepical moment that you share. I don't have kids of my own, but I love to play with my nieces and nephew, and it is truly interesting getting in the minds of little people, like just to go back. Hey, remember when you used to think this way and play these things? And yeah, it's a whole unearthing of magic and mystery at that stage of the game, for sure.
Yes, they are very, I think I've heard this before. And so my kids are 7 and 9. My son is actually turning 10 this month. But in being along this journey of their life with them so intimately and closely, and then I've also been trying to meaningfully, like, all of my grandparents passed away many, many years ago, but I have heard before that having people close in your life that are not at your exact stage of life, that are quite senior to you and quite junior to you, and how, that really helps form such an interesting way to see the world, new perspectives. Um, it's just, I have such a appreciation for just other humans that are at completely different stages of their human journey than I'm at, and building relationships there just to expand how you see the universe. I know my kids do that for me. And also, whenever I'm able to get in the room, with someone who has 40 years of life on me, and they've just, seen so many other incredible things, it's such an honor. So yeah, I love that as well.
Hey, that's wonderful. Erin, it has truly been a privilege and pleasure having you on the show, learning about the Elleiance Network and the dynamic things that you're doing to empower women across Canada, which is super amazing. Tell us, how can we learn more about you? Where can we find you? And, also specifically if there's a specific space for the award as well.
Yeah. So the best place to go to learn all about the Elleiance Network and the Capital L Business Impact Award is the website, which the homepage is elleiance.ca, and Elleiance is ELLEIANCE. And it's pretty self-explanatory once you land there, I hope. On social media, you can find me on Instagram at L.Iance, and on LinkedIn at Erin Sisko. And those are the two places that I mostly hang out online. And yeah, reach out anytime. I would love to hear from everybody.
Hey, that's awesome. And we'll be sure to put all of those information in the description below. And honestly, I am leaving this feeling energized and motivated to keep following my dreams, keep building community. Here at Empowered Facts, we talk a lot about the 4 C's, figuring out how to co-work together, co-learn together, co-live, and co-give. So it's all about community. So when you talk about that, I get super excited because it is in my DNA. I love people, I love entrepreneurs, and the reason for this show. So Erin, I'm going to give you back your day, but I'm sending you out with lots of love and positivity from us here at Empowered Facts and myself to you and your team over at the Elleiance Network.
Thank you. I appreciate this so much. Thank you so much.
Hey, awesome. Take care. Bye.